We can do a thumbnail later.
I just put in the Red Dirt D&D thumbnail.
Sweet.
Now let's see if this works. It's
No.
It says it's streaming over here. It's
All righty.
but I don't know if it's recording on or if it's going through.
We are refreshing.
I see it on YouTube.
Yeah, okay. And
There we are.
All right.
I
So
think
we
you hear
should
me.
be back. I can see us. Let's see if.
right.
Okay, now let's check the chat. I'm
Keep-
sorry. Did you say we had to go to the
We
bathroom?
got one person.
Well, now, why did you all the way back to the beginning?
You have to go back
Yeah.
out and go into the new stream.
Yes. All right.
I
So
think
you
we
hear
should
me.
be back. Okay. So I can see us. Let's see if I have
Right.
to pull out the chat, and I can't put the chat over here on us. There's my hand. We had to go to the bathroom. Why did you all the way back to the beginning?
Aiden says a Monster Island is playing. You have to go back
On
out and go
because
into the new
it probably
stream.
just defaulted to it. He might have to refresh.
Okay.
I
So
think
we
you hear
should be back. Okay. So I can see us. Can we hear everyone?
Dave, can you see us now?
I have
Right.
to pull out the chat, and I can't put the chat over
What if
here
I
on
just,
us.
like,
There's
high
my
five?
hand.
Ian's like, oh wait, I think that's me. Good job, kid.
Aiden
Good
says
job.
a Monster Island is playing.
I was gonna say, Johnny,
Go back
Johnny, tell us a story.
out and go
Because
into the new
it probably
stream.
can't hear any of us. Might have to refresh.
Okay.
You can hear it.
Yeah, I gotta mute
You
this.
still can't hear me.
I'm getting an echo.
Oh,
They still
my
can hear
goodness.
you.
Hold on.
Oh, no one said anything yet.
Hello.
This is our birthday stream.
It wasn't very long.
Very long.
We won't do this all night. If I don't get heard, I'll just sit here and just like randomly throw pictures of stuff up and
That's awesome.
mustaches on Brooke.
Okay. Germ says, dang it, I can hear him.
Can you hear me now?
With friends like these, who needs germs? Yay! We need germs.
Uh-oh, Michael, you gotta not switch screens. Don't
I
switch
didn't
off
switch
stuff off
screens.
your computer.
Did I switch screens?
For a moment, we saw a big zoom in on KOSU Studios. So
We saw behind the curtain, Mr. Cross.
Well, yeah, that's because if I go down here, like if I do that,
Hey, I'm on the internet, and Jeremy, it's JOHNNIE. Thank you very much.
Okay, so hopefully that Shadow Filkin has come back. What I was trying to say before I got muted was that they were doing a campaign based off of our campaign, and they wanted some DM tips.
Well, first off,
Well, they come back.
lean into it, like,
yeah,
because yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why we're having such success, because basically we said this is our theme and we're gonna lean into it, and I'm going to pull all of these different inspirations from from the actual world. So yeah, just really like lean into it. Don't be afraid of including the guns and horses and trains and all of those trappings of the Western world,
right.
because that's what makes it the Western genre. So yeah, lean into that. And again, the fantastic joke at the very beginning of the podcast about jackalopes,
Right.
right? Like,
That they may or may not exist
They
in our world.
may or may not exist. And it was like, and that's the great thing, because it's fantasy, so you do get to say yes
Yeah.
to things like jackalopes existing, or if you want to put in Bigfoot, if
Sure.
you want to put in a hodag,
Yeah.
put in a hodag. There's a whole great book that I have called American Monsters.
Yeah.
It's like, put in your favorite cryptids.
Mhm.
My
It's
name
a
should appear in
Bill,
your podcast.
The Oklahoma octopus.
The
Woo!
Oklahoma
Yeah.
octopus.
God, yeah. Oh, hey, speaking of, I think we got enough people in chat for this, especially some of the regulars. One thing I think we should address at our 2-year here, what do we call you? What do we call our fans?
Oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a great question.
Jackalopes? Coyotes?
Oh.
Yotes?
Just partners?
Yotes?
Yodis?
Oh,
I think
partners.
partners is good.
Well, fans, what do you want to be
Our
called?
little buckaroos.
Buckaroos. Or
I'm tapping down the bonsai part right now. So
you could just be the Cobalt Nation.
Oh, the Cobalt Nate. That's
we can
pretty
say
good.
stuff like "Hi, Nate." Oh, see where that goes.
Yep. I think someone already has that one.
I don't know if it's
but
copywritten.
Yeah.
Hey, good artists steal, great artists steal harder.
That's right. Woo!
Well,
it's not stealing; it's inspiration.
We do have
Listen, Germ says Dirt Devils.
Dirt Devils. That's
Dirt
pretty
Devils.
cool.
That's a good one.
Okay.
No, I mean, no, that's my thing though, is that like, because that's part of our extra life, right? That we're gonna, when we get our extra life started again, we're gonna open up membership into the Kobold Union again.
Yes.
So people who want to be our kobolds, they can join.
So we would be like, so would they be our Teamsters?
I was gonna say we call them Teamsters.
Yeah.
Hal says
Red,
Desperados.
Red Dirt Desperados.
Red Dirt Desperados.
Oh, Outlaws.
Outlaws.
I don't like
True,
outlaws.
true.
No, I'm a good guy.
Beloved
now.
members of the Black Smoke Gang.
No.
I can't cut Ash's mic anymore. I'm not streaming. Damn it.
That's awesome.
You could be like the Thundercrack Squad or something like that.
Think about it, and we'll ask again at the end of this.
Again, kobolds.
Yes. I think
We're the minions of the dragons. Kobolds.
Desperados.
Desperados is awesome.
Banditos.
Yeah.
The red dirt devils.
Red
though.
Dirt Devils
Yeah, that-
things. I like that.
That is
so
cool.
I think that fits really well.
That's
is
got
it?
some great alliteration. We're gonna continue to workshop.
I think
this.
Red Dirt Devils works. So I
Red-
did want to
Red
mention
Dirt
something
Devils.
because with Shadow the Falcon talking about making a campaign kind of based off of Ratoya. So our Saturday group, Aiden, I'm DMing right now. We're coming to the end of it. Probably about 4 or 5 weeks away. And Aiden, my son, is going to then DM our Saturday group. And he is going to do a Ravenloft. So it's going to be, we're going to be plane hopping. We're going to do all this stuff. And so we, as our characters, can be anywhere. Right?
Mhm.
And so one of our guys is actually going to be a gunslinger from Ratoya.
Nice.
Precious.
Oh, nice.
Your other
Like,
players.
I
One of
mean-
our players chose to be a gunslinger from Ratoya. I'm like,
Now you're
yeah,
just gonna
that's
have
cool.
to now you're just literally gonna have to lean into it and actually do Dracula, right? Where because
Oh, yeah.
with Dracula you had the cowboy, what was it? Because you had Quincy Adams who was the cowboy, like all of Mina's different suitors.
Yes, I think you've had Dracula in the Old West. Yeah,
It's
love that
the
idea.
appropriate time period. And of course that's the other fun thing too, is like, people don't think about a lot is how much, like, how the different time periods overlap. Because, like, of course there's like the Tumblr post that goes around pointing out where it's like you can technically have like a 70-something-year-old pirate, because the very end of like the golden age of sail happened, and someone could conceivably still be alive in like the 1890s, right? So golden age of sail, the end of Meiji era Japan, so you could have a pirate, a Ronin samurai, a cowboy, and like a Victorian gutter snipe all at the same time.
yeah, and
Wow.
And they called themselves the Village People.
YMCA.
Young orc.
But yeah, you could also,
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
because that's also the time that Bram Stoker was writing Die Vampire and or not. No, he didn't do Vampire. He did
No, Bram
Dracula.
Stoker did Dracula,
Yeah.
Pa-
but
Dr.
Carmilla
Polidori.
was before that. and
Dr.
that was-
Dr.
Dr. Polidori
Polidori.
did
Yeah.
Vampire.
Dr. Polidori. But
Yeah.
Like
and then- but there's never been a good Carmilla movie, and that's the problem,
Yeah.
because Who doesn't want lesbian vampires?
Right.
Republicans.
This is the future liberals want.
It really is though.
Because it's the future I want.
You guys are getting a little bit of a bonus of what happens when we're taping. When Kiri she doesn't always say much, but when she does, it's these that end up going, of course, usually in the outtakes. But yes,
Michael, there was something that happened. I think it was episode 111 or 112 was our last recording session that hit Johnny and I so hard I couldn't catch my breath. I can't remember what it was.
I don't either.
Right.
I remember
this
thinking
moment.
that it wasn't actually that funny, and you.
I remember what it was.
It was the circle.
Talk about that.
The circle.
The circle.
Yeah.
Remember Mike?
That's right.
No.
Remember Mr. Cross?
Now you guys don't have to wait and see what that was.
I know. Well,
I'll
the great
remind
thing
you,
is
Michael.
When I get to edit episode 112 later on this week, then I will get to experience that all over again, and I'll start laughing because I know it's whatever it was. As soon as it happened, while it was happening, I thought this is definitely going in the outtakes, so everybody will be able to enjoy it. They just have to get all the way through episode 112 to get to the end.
It was an outtake during the roundtable, and it was spaced out because you said it, and then we did some dialogue for a while, and then we did a break, and I spiked it.
Was it in the roundtable? It wasn't in the roundtable.
Yeah. Well, we had a round
you talk about
table
just get your friends and you sit in a circle.
Oh no, that's a different one. That's
no,
a different one.
Yeah, no, that was
I know
totally
which
different
one
one.
everybody else is thinking of, but we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, just a little bit of insight for everybody. We're at we already pre-recorded up to 112. We are 6 weeks ahead of you guys.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Well, and we are recording
that's
again
the way
in a
we make it
couple
work.
weeks.
Yeah.
So
Secrets of Monster Island records this Saturday, all 4 of our episodes, and then the next Sunday we record all 4 episodes of Red Dirt D&D. So I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I have a Friday
it makes me
group,
I'm jealous, Mr. Cross.
I do. Well, that's why I had a son.
Yeah.
So
you have your own private dungeon
That's
master.
why. I need a gaming group. Let me make babies.
Unfortunately, you do have to wait 12 to 13 years.
You have to give us some time to get them the proper training, but
Yeah, unlike kobolds, they don't come out of the shell ready to go.
No.
There's a lot of a process in there. So
it's a big process.
how did humans ever survive? I mean, we are so fragile at the beginning of our lives.
Sheer tenacity.
That's right.
I mean, technically,
literally, one of the things that makes humans better predators is that we can just walk slowly behind prey until they get tired.
Yep, that's true.
We just keep going. We are pursuit predators.
Yeah. Well, with a lot of human history, they wouldn't even name their kids until after about a year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, that's
This is
also why they
wasn't
had
always
12 to 13 children.
That's also
2 of
true.
them made it to adulthood. Congratulations.
Well, and that's
More than
also
most
why
people.
they when everyone says, oh yeah, the average age of before somebody died was 30. Well, no, it was simply because
the babies are bringing our average down.
There were so many deaths in infancy and childhood that once you get rid of the outliers, right? Once you get rid of the infants and the children, then you actually stood a pretty good chance, unless you were a
Survival of the fittest.
reproductive female.
And of course that's why it is average. Life expectancy was an average. And that's why you can't say, well, they died at 30. They didn't die at 30.
So what you're saying, Ash, is humankind was lowering its standards to raise its average. It's
Exactly.
been doing that for the past generations.
That feels like it's striking close to home.
I'm still trying to figure out how we survived drinking out of the water hose in the 80s. The 70s and 80s.
When the pandemic hit and we were doing all these things to keep clean at work, we were changing out our microphone socks and we were changing out our headphones and stuff. And we weren't even thinking about that before. It's how did we not get sick beforehand? You just really didn't we're wiping down everything. We're cleaning everything a lot better than we used to.
My favorite life lesson that everybody learns at some point in time, generally during childhood, is that after you have a cold, you have to change out your toothbrush or you're going to give yourself your cold back. Because as a 6-year-old, you don't think about that.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, your mom does it for you. Or if you're me, you just keep giving yourself the same cold for like 3 months.
It's like the Velveteen toothbrush.
Yeah. Well, you know, of course, also, if you just go to the dentist every 6 months, you get a brand new toothbrush.
I hate
Exactly.
the dentist.
And just, I used to as well. And
Don't
then I got-
get me
then I got my
started
teeth
about
filled.
the
like that.
luxury bones that only the rich can afford to keep in good standing order. That is my soapbox. Luxury
I love how,
bones.
again, we touted this as the Red Dirt birthday stream, but you're seriously getting the Red Dirt birthday stream of consciousness. Literally, this is what we are like behind the scenes. We are just a bunch of loons. Like, I don't know how we've convinced people to download our podcast.
I don't know why I keep coming back every month and recording with these people.
49,550 times.
Right.
Michael, I can
Right.
feel your brain is on my brain. Go. What were you gonna say?
Here's the thing: is 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, and it was actually a little bit before this. Because 2 years ago is when we actually dropped this the very first episode. So that's what we're celebrating. So a little more than 2 years ago, we got 5 of these 6 people together, and Connor was still there. He was just sitting over in the corner. But we got together and we were
Where we found
basically
him.
strangers. I knew Johnny from doing the Oka Geek podcast. I knew Ash very well because we'd done work together as a DM and player, but for the most part, we were all strangers. Now we can get together and just make we can banter back and forth like we're old friends, and it's wonderful.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which goes back to that kind of original question from, stream 1 of, perspective, right? Like, now, instead of a room of strangers, like what it just happened, I read Michael, I knew his brain had something. And so instead of that first and second episode pause of like, who's going to say something, who's got something, we can
It's
just
like
go.
Yeah.
It's like whenever Michael made the comment about the circle, and I just kind of popped my head up slightly, and he saw my chest heave to take a breath to speak. He goes, "Johnny, no."
Nope, we can't do that, Johnny. No.
No.
I know, because you
No, no.
you can. There is that point now. Especially, I think the other thing is it helps that Brooke, Johnny, and I are really freaking old. And,
How
It's like-
how
it's
is
like
this
there's
guy
the
calling
old-
old?
and we're and not
There's the
necessarily
old grognard side of the table,
It's-
and then there's like the younger millennial
Yeah.
side of the
Yeah,
table.
we have the Gen X side and the millennial side. And so the millennials will say their little thing that we don't get, and the grognards, the Gen Xers of us, will say something that the millennials don't get, and it's hilarious.
They
And so-
make fun of me because I don't watch Star Wars. I make fun of them because they haven't seen Bridgerton. It's a give and take
It
relationship.
is. I've seen Bridgerton. I love Bridgerton.
I just finished season 2 today. I finally got around to it.
Oh, it's a
finished season 2 when it
show,
first
not a
came out.
guy.
Yeah, we-
Okay.
Yeah,
It is a guy, but it's also a show.
the guy,
Yeah.
the guy
Like
in-
Doctor
It's
Who.
kind of a little bit of both.
Yeah, the guy in
Right, bro,
season
just
1.
like it.
The guy in season 1 of Bridgerton is going to be in the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Right.
Nice.
I'm in.
Yeah,
He was also in one episode of season 2.
he was in one episode. I was
For, like,
I was
2
disappointed
minutes.
I was disappointed the way they wrote him out. It was very
This season wasn't about him.
yeah. So
But speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, if you were part of Plausible Deniability last week, or maybe it was A&M, it was, I think, A&M.
It
Yes.
was A&M.
It was A&M. Michael, the prognosticator, has an idea about the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
yes.
Yeah. that
And an
was
upcoming event.
him.
Oh yes, and that's the 23rd. So that is actually starting this week, I believe, is Comic-Con, folks.
San Diego Comic-Con
starts this week, and Dungeons and Dragons is in Hall H. According to everything I've read, now of course I could have gotten bad information, but from what I've been reading, they are in Hall H, and I think it's on the 23rd that they will be there with the cast. And I cannot imagine someone being in Hall H with the cast of Dungeons and Dragons and not showing a full-on, at least teaser trailer, if not a full-on trailer. So
Oh yeah.
get ready, folks. By this time next week, we will have a teaser or a trailer for the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Teaser at least, yeah.
That's my crystal ball. I'm no good at those. So
Well, it's marketing
Take that with a
suicide.
grain
You're
of salt.
very good at those.
It'd be marketing suicide for them to show up empty-handed.
Yeah, exactly. That's
would.
why I think that they
Completely.
will. They'll have something for us, a teaser
They're
trailer.
gonna
full on
do this trailer that's gonna blow your mind, and then the guy that plays Palpatine's gonna step out and say, "Wrote it again," and then they'll play it a second time, and then yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
I think it might just be a teaser though, because it is a little soon, because it's not coming out to next March, so it might be a little too soon for a full on trailer. I'm expecting a trailer more than likely if with the Christmas movies.
Again, it's
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those
probably.
things that like Hall H, again, Hall H is where they go
Yeah.
to drop trailers.
Yeah.
Like if they are in Hall H, like it's gonna be more. Like I feel like we're gonna get a little bit more than just a teaser trailer. Cause like you don't go to Comic-Con and set up a fancy tavern booth
Right.
and make all of this hubbub and all of this to do about your movie and then just give us breadcrumbs, right?
I don't
Like
know though. With the D&D Direct, they did say, "Hey, we're going to talk about that movie," and all they gave us was the title. So
we got a title.
That's
I mean,
true.
it seriously could just be
I hate it.
fire, and then when the fire clears out, it says Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
It could be that.
hey, if it's someone laughing like the Xanathar, I'd be happy. If you
No,
just,
if
they just show a little goldfish and then the shadow of done
goldfish
good.
with a giant eye behind it.
Yes,
I mean,
that would do it for me. I would be
See,
good with that.
and that's what you guys are all like, but I'm just over here. It's like, okay, if I see like a tricorn hat with a very fabulous feather coming off it, like I'm just gonna start vibrating just to let you
don't know if they'll do the drow.
I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like
so
everybody
live.
Everybody wants the Dritz movie. Like people have been asking for the Dritz movie since forever, and it's definitely probably a property that would work better animated, because then you don't get as many like people being like,
yeah.
But yeah, it's like, but still, I'm just like, I think they're gonna do it eventually. At some point, it's gonna happen.
Careful with it, but
they're just gonna have to be mindful of how they do it.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
So I don't think there will be any recognizable characters. I doubt there will, because
there's gonna be a hamster running across the bar somewhere.
If well, now and Ash and I did talk about, if they just had a scene where they're in the yawning portal with people going down inside the hole, I'd be happy. They don't have to do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just show adventures and a horse being lowered down into it. I mean,
there would be
that would be fantastic. If I were directing this, that's what I would have. Just in the background.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things. Like I'm predicting, like, if they play their cards right, like I'm predicting something like so that puzzle that got released like 2-3 years ago with Waterdeep Dragon Heist. It's like there's an illustration in the book that they turned into a puzzle, and it has like all of these cameos from all these different characters. Like that's what I'm predicting, is that there's just going to be stuff going on all the time in the backgrounds.
Yeah.
And those of us who know will know, and will be like,
yeah, those will be Easter eggs.
It's
for
Glorbo
the
from my shows.
Yeah, those will be Easter eggs for our fans, and that way we can actually see the characters walking by. You might see a plume hat, and like sitting on the bar or something like that.
I mean, really cool. I think something that spans the ages, and if they learn anything from the Disney Star Wars series, they'll do some fan service. But I think a cameo that spans the ages would be Minsk and Boo, because Minsk and Boo have shown up in, of course, the Baldur's Gate game. They've had write-ups as their own characters. They were in the Neverwinter MMO. Their quest, you actually go on a quest with them both, and they become quest givers. They're also in the Dungeons of Mayhem card game. You can buy an expansion of all the characters from Baldur's Gate, and of course Minsk and Boo were featured and highlighted in it, and that game's only like 2 years old. It's maybe 3 years old, but I think that the time spanning nod to the fans would be Minsk and Boo.
Yes,
that's a pretty smart idea.
The only thing I think that they might do as far as adding a character in the movie is if they added somebody whose name you knew but face you didn't know. For example, you know what Driss looks like. You know what Jarlaxle looks like. You know what Minsk and Boo look like. So putting a physical actor into that position, because you're never going to find an actor that looks exactly like what you've seen. But if you add someone like a Mordenkainen, a Volo, a
Melf from Melf's Acid Arrow.
Melf.
Nice.
Yes.
Vin Diesel could play Minsk.
Well,
Yes,
yes, there are characters that could play them. I'm not saying
would.
that, but
he would play him.
he would still not
You
be.
would do it in a heartbeat.
He still would not be exactly look like him. That's why I say add a character that we know, like Elminster. You know, you could put in Elminster. People don't recognize the face, but we go, "Oh my gosh, that's Elminster."
So here we go. Carrie, stop typing for a second.
I'm listening.
Who's Elminster?
No idea.
There you go, Grognard.
Yeah.
Our generation would go.
But you
"Oh,
knew
yeah,
Melf's
that's
Acid
Elminster."
Arrow.
And
That's
the
I
what
did
other
Melf's
audience
Acid
was
Arrow
going,
because
"Who's
they made a
that
joke
guy?"
about it on not another D&D
Or-
podcast.
Or they could bring in Big B's. Big
Who?
B's.
I do know Bigby.
So
Oh,
I'm
you
just
could bring
saying
in
those would be
Fizban.
Easter eggs. That's what I'm saying. Those would be
Fizban would
Easter
work on
eggs.
both sides.
Yeah, they would be Easter
Because
eggs.
he's been modernized.
You don't have to necessarily. That's the beauty of Easter eggs is not everybody's going to get it. It's designed for the fan.
Yeah.
Just love how this has turned into a plausible deniability.
Yeah. Can we
I
talk
don't
about
know
something I
anything
have
about
any?
the
We've
main
gone
characters in
knowledge
from
of.
like we've gone from a
Okay.
red dirt D&D roundtable to an A&M talk D&D.
Yeah, this is our
and now we're
birthday
around to
party. Let's
plausible
talk about
deniability.
us.
So
This
yeah.
is what happens when you get all of us together.
So let's talk about Easter eggs, maybe, or we could talk about teasers because there's some stuff coming up.
Whose laugh was that?
Series.
Jeez.
No, what I want to know
was
about
the dog.
is
It was
2 years ago. 2 years ago on July 18th, we dropped the pilot episode. It was followed almost immediately the next day with episode 1 and the next day with episode 2. When the pilot dropped, and this is a question for all of you, did you expect to still be celebrating this show 2 years later?
When we recorded, no.
Ah,
When I listened to the episode, yes.
Kiri?
I mean, I was trying to go in with no expectations so that I couldn't be disappointed. I didn't expect to get put in the thing in the first place. So
We're
I
all still
was like,
surprised.
hey, if this goes, this will be something to do for a few months. But I've only ever played with D&D. I've only had you guys and my Saturday night group.
Mhm.
I've only ever had long-term groups. Even though with my Saturday night group, we've never finished a campaign. But we've been playing, it's roughly the same group of people. We've added one new one. But I mean, so yeah. I was also, remember when we recorded the pilot, I had been playing D&D for less than 6 months.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that it was going to do what it did.
I think you can
Connor, when it
officially be
started-
declared a veteran now, Kiri.
Yeah.
Two and a half years of playing Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool that you're about to
Suffered through the
celebrate your
D&D
first
trenches. You are
campaign
now one of us.
completing. We're not about to. I mean, whenever that happens.
Right. Whenever that happens.
So I'm sorry, Brooke, you were asking a question of Connor.
No, I was just gonna ask Connor. So like Connor has an interesting perspective because you were an audience member in those first several episodes. And so what did you think?
Well, I already knew kind of the plans that Ash had for it. And basically anything Ash sets their mind to, it's gonna take off no matter what it is. Like that's just the power of Ash.
That's why I wanted them to be my DM.
Yeah. And so I was actually in their first recording session. I wasn't a part of the auditions or anything like that, but I was just sitting off to the side, kind of trying to be quiet because I didn't want the mics to pick me up. But
It was,
like,
if you heard like random laughing in the background, it was probably Connor.
it was either probably me or Mark.
Yeah,
honestly.
or it could have been Mark at the time.
Yeah. And but it seemed pretty interesting. You guys seemed to pretty quickly hit like a groove with each other. That I think you can really kind of tell in the first few episodes. But I never really expected to be a cast member at any point.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Well, to you guys.
Thank you,
COVID.
But yeah, it's been really interesting.
What about you, John?
I didn't think I would make it past Connor because there's a saying in theater, and it's never let your understudy go on.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't coming in to play anonymous, he was coming in to fill the spot, and it was like, oh, I'm not worried. And I was like, oh, this guy's really good. And then we all started. I don't know. I think we told you this many times. We started a chat group that you weren't in.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, let's talk to him and talk to Ash and get him to stick around if he wants to.
Yeah.
Because you brought an element. You belong. You brought an element that we didn't have.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I've recently re-listened to those first few episodes that I'm in. I'm like, oh gosh, why did they want me to be part of this? Well, like obviously I've gotten better with it, but
I think also because your character brought in something new to us that we didn't have, and we didn't realize that was missing until you did come along. And that's why I think there was actually a discussion of, okay, because you had talked, Connor and Ash talked about, well, do we keep Connor around? I'm like, yeah, we have to, because Connor's bringing something special to this group that we didn't have before.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So Johnny, what about you? Did you think we were going to be celebrating 2 years when we started this thing?
So I had two thoughts of it. Is there's the how long is this thing going to run, and how long are people going to listen to it?
Yeah.
Option. And so it got its momentum right away, and I'm like, okay, this thing will run until no one is listening to it, and then that side of it has just I think it's when we started like hitting our first big milestone numbers. But going back to the first two recording sessions, no, I was hyped to the roof and pumped, and I don't see the end in sight anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never doubted it for a minute.
So finally,
awesome.
Ash.
Oof. I think kind of echoing that thought of like, it was something that we were gonna do it, and obviously if there was an audience for it, then I was like, okay, that was my thing. I was like, are we going to find an audience for this? Is anybody going to listen? And if obviously people are listening, then we'll keep going as long as people, if people are deriving enjoyment from the thing that we are creating, then that is reason enough for me to continue doing it until I get crispy.
Yeah.
Because I knew I had like going into it, I was like, if I can't commit to at least one full campaign, then like if I don't have one full campaign in me, then I wouldn't do it.
Right. Because
like I would at least go until the story that I had to tell got told. And then I would look at, okay, well, I did the campaign, we finished it out, it went well, but that's probably when I would have been like, okay, we need to look at, is this something that we actually want to continue forward? Do I still have more stories in me to tell? And of course the answer is always yes.
Yeah.
I will say this is the first time I've been in any kind of like end game situation in a D&D campaign, because remember I told you all my other ones, so you never get to the end. So it is a weird feeling, especially because we only record once a month generally.
Right.
And so it's a lot of tension that you guys only have to hold on to it for 7 days. We have to hold on to it for a month.
Yeah.
Well,
especially when I end a session in a battle.
Well, yeah.
I hate it when that happens. When
terrible.
we are mid-battle,
Terrible.
and then I have to make sure that I listen to that previous episode, not just like before we record, but like in the car on the way, so I can remember, do I have any active spells up?
Right.
Where am I?
Who's hurt?
Yeah. Who's hurt? Who's been hasted? Who's been? Yeah.
I'm always trying to keep track of who's hurt now.
But say if you ever notice that I'm like overly re-describing a battle and a battle scene,
approximately every 4 episodes.
Yeah,
Approximately
that's
every
right.
4 episodes. It's because we've just come back from, okay, we finished up, like we ended in the middle of a fight during one session, and now it's a month later and we have to refamiliarize with everything that's going on. So yeah, if you whenever you notice my descriptions getting a little bit longer and my establishing shots
Yes.
a little bit longer, a little bit bigger, it's literally because it's a new session. It's like I try to make all of my establishing shots an equal length, but it's like that generally that first establishing monologue of a new session, those tend to be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But this time will be the first time that I will be sad to put a character like on the shelf.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like I really like Poppy.
Yeah.
I don't want to put her on the shelf.
Yeah.
She'd fit, but I don't want to put her there.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting when we do go on to campaign 1.5. I was thinking not only have we gone 2 years, we're also of course getting very close to 50,000 downloads all time. which is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Crazy.
We've been listened to in
What, 500 away?
Yeah, we've been listened to in every state of the union, including Washington D.C. We've been listened to in more than 75 countries around the world, and every now and then we pop up as being favorites in the Philippines, France, Saudi Arabia, and Hong Kong. Don't know why, but there you go.
Asians love us.
When we make the charts in Canada, that's when I'll feel
Yes.
accomplished.
Once it crosses the Pacific, we'll be good. But one of the
Yeah,
things
say
that-
that's the joke, right? Is that we
If you can make it in Canada, you can make it anywhere.
That's right.
make it anywhere. It's like slowly but surely we are making our way towards the top as we sweep across the globe. It's just we're not starting in the US, we're starting in somewhere really weird.
It's fine.
But here's the other thing: is not only have we been going for 2 years, and I don't think any other podcast can really say this as far as actual play podcast. We are. I don't know how many other podcasts there are that do drop one episode every week. We've never missed a week, and we've had times where we've had COVID. We've had times where we've had people. I mean, we've had to go online because of COVID.
2 ice storms.
Yeah, 2
Yes.
ice storms. So
Way to jinx it, Michael.
and I know, yeah, we got 108-degree temperature tomorrow. Who knows what it's going to be like next
Maybe we
Sunday?
cancel once because it got really windy.
Rolling blackouts. That's what's gonna happen next time. You can't record
Oh,
without
You're
electricity.
jinxing it even more.
But we
Kiri.
have a generator at our place.
Woo!
KOH
really?
has a generator.
So ha
Because we have to.
I mean,
We're-
I'm gonna
we're
have to
radio.
do so much curse breaking.
But
Yeah.
So much
but
curse
that
breaking.
is like so interesting. So a lot of actual play podcasts, when they finish a campaign, they will either take a short hiatus or they'll do some filler episodes of like like NADPOD does D&D Court, which are hilarious if you are not another D&D podcast fan. But we are I don't think we're doing anything. Are we doing
we are going to
an end of campaign roundtable?
we are going to do the goal is to do when we sit down for a 4-hour record, we are going to do 3 basically round tables. They're going to be shorter because they're still going to be in the 35 to 40 minute long length. But
Yep.
and then one kind of a session 0 to get ready for campaign 1.5. So we will take a little bit of a break, but it won't be that long. And most, what I hear from most podcasts is they break up just their first campaign into seasons, and they'll take breaks between their seasons. So we are the only ones that actually we have dropped an episode every week. And regardless, and sometimes I have actually had to edit an episode like a week. I've got 1 week to get it down by Friday.
Yeah.
We hate it when we do that to Michael.
It's
Don't like doing
horrible,
that.
but I mean, if I didn't love editing so much, it would be a problem. But I do what I love, and I love it so much that it's stressful. It takes a long time to do it because I want it to be perfect. It can never be perfect. I want it to be great, but that's the only stress is making sure that it's good. Other than that, I love doing it. Otherwise, I don't think I would do it. And the first time I sat down to edit the pilot, and I was on vacation in Branson, and I had it on my laptop, and I just didn't know what to do with it. I just finally pulled it up, and I went, "What am I going to do with this thing?" and then threw it into multi-track, and then I was like, okay, there's a train. Let's put a train sound there. Okay, that sounded good. Hey, let's do a door sound. Let's do a knock on a door. Okay. Door sound, walking. Okay, this is starting to work out. And it was almost, and then putting ambient sound for the Venturas, and then music, only music at the end with the Dragonborn. I was like, oh my gosh, I put together a show. And that was the moment for me where I went, oh, we've got a show.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, that was incredible. So that's the fact that we've been doing this for 2 years and putting out an episode every week, coming up on 106 episodes as of tomorrow, or as of Wednesday. Sunday, if you're a Patreon member, at patreon.com/reddirtdnd.
They're living in the future.
It's been phenomenal, and it's been phenomenal to be friends with all of you guys, because I think we've really grown as friends, and it's been fun. We've had some really fun times that just been incredible. So.
Just like actors that like get to know each other and get to kind of, you get better as the more you do it. So you start to really understand each other and stuff like that. And I talked about it a little bit at SoonerCon, but I have something I didn't expect is, coming in so new to D&D at the beginning, is that sure, I create the Poppy character. I give her a voice. I generally kind of point out things that she's doing, but a lot of Poppy is also written by Ash. A lot of Poppy is also written by Johnny. Johnny influences a lot of Poppy because of the Zonymous Poppy relationship and kind of how that shapes what she does. Michael had a big hand. The role that Gideon played in Poppy was huge.
That was massive, yeah.
Absolutely huge, to the point where if you go back and listen to early battles where Gideon is in the mix, Poppy is very actively attacking a lot of things, and especially in the session that we just had, there's more of her trying to figure out how she can buff and how she can heal and how she can be a support magic user in the back, because she's also played with Connor and Makrin, so they are more aggressive arcane users, and they don't have a whole lot of things they can do for support, and so that's something. So I've grown as a D&D player, as well as Poppy's character having grown into and developed as well.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things has been that has surprised me is the first time that we went to Uncanny Comic Expo, and we had fans come up to the table, and we got to sign a player's handbook, and that's been the most incredible part. And then there's been TokenCon and SoonerCon. And so you guys out there have just been it just warms. It's just so amazing to know that you interact with us.
The first time I saw Poppy artwork, I lost my mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every time I see Poppy artwork, I lose my mind.
And
Emily N was the very first one. Remember, I brought it and showed it to you on my phone.
Yeah.
I still have that on my phone.
Yeah, in the suspenders and the little hat and the freckles.
Yeah. And then of course Poppy's first cosplay. This past month at SoonerCon.
Abby,
thanks to Hal's
I'm gonna
daughter,
remember Abby forever. Yeah, because Abby was our first cosplay.
Yeah, that's amazing. And now Hal
Carday has done so much great artwork for us. Go ahead.
Speaking of Hal,
he did ask a question. How much?
He has a question.
How much was written by the dice? How much of our stories?
Brooke, this is a question for you.
Let's just say 2 words: mashed potatoes.
The mashed potatoes, and there have been other moments too. But the very first time after Gideon's death that Poppy uses the sword, doesn't she crit?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was that, and then of course Makrin has had some great ones. He's had some moments where both positive and negative. We talk about my bad rolls a lot, but mashed potatoes was a moment.
Falling asleep by the Yodis.
Falling asleep on the Yodis, at the window at the McKee Ranch. That was awesome.
Yeah.
There've been a couple of great. Usually it's with his fortitude saves or there's a spell effect, and he just stands there and takes it. It's like nope, or
the point in time where Makrin doesn't pick up on the tension between Connor and Zonimus until the Plane of Dread.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you had a really good role right there.
Yes.
And all the other times were bad. So you just thought we were all best friends. And it
Yep.
wasn't until it gets ratcheted up that he then realizes. Brooke rolls a lot secretly just for himself. He's directly to my left.
Yeah.
And I will see him roll. And at this point in time, 2 years later, I can generally be like, oh, I think he's rolling to see if he understands what's going on. Or he's rolling to see if he gets the joke.
Yeah, he definitely uses his dice. Brooke uses his dice for Makrin in order to, like, it feels like sometimes it's like to avoid metagaming, but it's literally just like he's trying to play Makrin to the truth of who Makrin is. And so he truly does let his dice tell Makrin's story.
Yeah.
So it's like it is one of the most fascinating things that, like, you know, because one of my things as a dungeon master is I actually don't like it when players ask for rolls or when they're just like rolling, you know, just for themselves. Because I'm like, why are you rolling? What are you rolling for? What's going on over there? And so, like, with you, Brooke, I really have had to just, Brooke's just doing his thing.
Just rolling his dice.
But just looking.
Having fun over there with his dice and with Makrin, and that's okay, Ash.
What do we think about that? I don't know. Let's find out.
Yeah, and I think also another time when the dice have made a difference was the fight at the Pegasi when we were trying to free the Pegasi, and we had to face all of these. How many times did we all go down?
So many.
There was the point in time where it was just Poppy and Makrin, and Makrin had like 2 hit points.
One hit point.
Yeah.
One hit point for like 3 or 4 rounds.
Holding a healing potion.
Yeah, and Ash was looking at me like, you could drink it any time. Like, you should probably drink it.
But that would take an action. But also, how many times did we roll 20s on those death saves and got right back up? I mean, that's where the dice become really, really interesting. It's like the dice don't want you to give up. Just roll over and die. Now, in Secrets of Monster Island, I had death saves and I rolled a 1 after having already rolled 1. So my character ended up dying. So it goes the other way. But
Halflings
it also
are great.
Yeah, it added to the story. I think dice are part of Dungeons and Dragons, without a doubt.
I love one of my favorite failures, although other than mashed potatoes, because that was hilarious, is when we're facing Fortunato and Makrin is just overcome with emotion and he just forgets about Arcane and he grabs the hammer and he charges Fortunato and I roll a natural 1 and Brooke was like, nope. And I pass over 5 fate chips because we're going to turn that dude or up a fate chip because we're going to roll that. And I roll it again and it's another natural 1. Like what part of the universe is like, no, this is the way the story is going to happen.
That's how the story has to happen. And it's really neat. It's really neat when the dice do that. So
it's something that I do talk about whenever I do Dungeon Master education. And this is actually, so finally for our Silver Dragon patrons and above, you will start to receive my Dungeon Master blog starting not this upcoming Friday, but next Friday. And the first post that I have loaded up is actually talking about basic mechanics of D&D. Because I don't think we talk about that enough to like actually understand like the base mechanic. What does it mean?
Yeah.
So when I do Dungeon Master education, one of the things that I talk about is the concept of numbers and narration. Mm-hmm. So we're always doing narration, like, right? We're always describing what our characters are doing and what's going on. But the dice literally represent the hand of fate.
Right.
Like, and it's because again, it's like you can be the most well-trained acrobat in the world. You can be the best swordsman in the world. But that one misstep, that one swing that just goes bad.
Yeah.
Like, you can never predict when that's going to happen. And so that's why the dice are so important. Mm-hmm. And that's how they become that storytelling element it is literally fate that is going on when you roll those dice. So
On the other side of that, Ash is really great at saying no. Kiri, I know you're older 26, but there's absolutely no way
That's right.
Poppy would know anything about this.
Yeah.
That's my other thing, right? Is like whenever I'm just like, okay, I need somebody, like I need this specific person to roll me a perception check, and then everyone else at the table is like, can I do it too?
Yeah.
Like
That's why, and not a conversation we're going to have, Pathfinder doesn't do that. So following right along, it's like
We're really
it's
good at not doing
try
that.
to pick the
though.
lock.
Yeah.
You failed. Can I try to pick the lock? Are you trained in it? No. Then no. And then after a few times, it's like, oh, if I don't have a little T next to that skill, I'm not going to ask if I can try it too. Otherwise, everyone in the room is searching.
Yeah.
Everyone in the room is trying to pick a lock. Everyone in the room is looking for traps. Yeah.
Which is something you have to learn
and
as a player. Yeah, go.
Who's talking about the DM tips and such and everything? Who's DMing next?
Oh, you mean for 1.5?
Okay, so
This
let's.
conversation.
Okay,
He's
so
not here.
you just opened up the Pandora's box of campaign 1.5.
Yeah.
Oops, did
That's
I?
a good question.
So,
He's in the chat though. At least he was a few minutes ago.
folks, if you did not know, campaign 1 is going to end because all good things do.
Eventually.
And so eventually it will end.
And we
Because-
don't know exactly when it will end.
Right.
My personal prediction is that it will be pre-Christmas.
When Fortunato gets a thundercrack and turns her into a Draco Lich.
Oh.
2 episodes left and then it's a cut. Is Ash writing? Is Ash writing that down?
Yeah, probably. I can imagine them writing that down. So there will be a campaign 1.5. So let's talk a little bit about campaign 1.5. First off, the person who is going to be DMing the very first episode of campaign 1.5 is a very near and dear friend of mine, my son, Aiden Cross.
Never heard of him.
Hope that he's a good friend. You did
Never heard
help
of him.
create him.
Aiden is also going to be our showrunner for campaign 1.5. And the reason we are having a showrunner is because we will not have a consistent dungeon master through the whole thing, because Ash is the showrunner for campaign 1. Ash will be the showrunner for campaign 2. But we wanted to give them a little bit of a break between those two campaigns.
Yeah.
Because-
our
Palate
kids haven't
cleanser,
even
if you will.
seen my
Right.
reading list
And
for
this is-
campaign 2.
This is why when you go to some place like Critical Role, Critical Role has one dungeon master. And if you'll notice, Critical Role takes a break, a fairly decent break, between
Big break.
their campaigns because they have to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's only so much that Matt can really, I mean, you
Because
got
he
to
also
give him,
has a job
Yeah.
and a wife and
you got to give him
things
to do.
time to create the second campaign or the next campaign. We
But
want
this
to do the
crew
same
with a
thing.
K and the Red Dirt Dust Devil Desperados, you guys demand
Yeah.
stuff.
You demand that we keep these episodes going. So we have decided that we are going to still give Ash a break between campaigns 1 and campaign 2. However, there will be a campaign 1.5, which have we even come up with a title yet?
not a real one.
Not
It
a
is
real
the one
one.
we have.
Yeah.
We're still
Yeah.
workshopping it. We're still workshopping
We haven't
it.
found the
and
good
his
pun. We're
minions.
working on our puns.
Can we give them the working title?
I think so.
Like, it's-
So I'm going with Tales from the Ironwoods
How do you spell that?
yeah,
with an I.
with an I,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
Ironwoods with an I.
Uh-huh.
So
No,
should we,
Tails
should
with
we,
an eye.
should we go
Oh.
over? So after Aiden DMs the first session, which will again be 4 hours. It'll be it'll be 4 hours. Then the next dungeon master will be
Me.
Connor.
And
Connor.
on my screen, by the way,
On my
Connor
screen,
is
he's over here.
directly to my right.
Connor will run the second session, and then the third session will be run by
Me.
Kiri.
And we're in a really bad Brady Bunch episode.
We
Like,
are.
I'm not even gonna try and.
It works for
I don't
me
even
because
know
I
where
can
I'm at.
actually see it. It's the one
I
that's
can
being
see
posted.
it,
Let's
yeah.
say Michael's screen is the correct
Is
screen.
correct.
Everyone else.
Okay, well then.
And we can't go wrong at all with the fourth DM. Then will be me, who has 2 thumbs and is doing the fourth show. Me. Okay, the fifth one will be Brooke. No, Johnny.
Oh.
Johnny.
I always get the two
I-
confused.
Brooke and I had a
Flipped
roll
the
off.
coin.
We
Gotta be
both
Johnny,
wanted,
yes,
to, we
that-
both
and that's
wanted to be
why.
at the end, so we had a rock paper scissors, and Brooke won.
Yes, and then our final will no. Then the next one will be Brooke,
The penultimate.
the penultimate session.
The penultimate episode.
Because the final session will
No
then
pressure
be
as I hand it back
run-
off too.
Yeah, will then be run by our showrunner Aiden Cross, who will finish out campaign 1.5. So out of all, we're talking about
6 months of episodes?
6 to 7 or 8 months worth of episodes. That should give Ash plenty of time to then put together a really good campaign 2. Do we want to go over our characters? Do we want to let them know our characters?
I'd
I will
love to
tell
give a
you.
teaser.
It's our birthday, Michael. We should do something really special for our birthday, like tease our 1.5 characters.
That's exactly what we should be
How
doing.
much are we teasing exactly?
Yeah. Somebody go first.
Ash, since you mentioned it.
Yay!
Alphabetically, Ash should always
the-
go first.
The other reason real quickly, the real other reason we're taking a break
they
from
can set
campaign
the
1
bar.
and campaign 2 is not only does it give Ash a chance to create their world, well, it's still going to be Ratoya, but their campaign
Because
setting.
listen, campaign 2 setting is going to be complicated.
Yeah.
I was about to say Aiden. So Aiden is the showrunner for campaign 1.5, but I am still the executive producer.
Right.
Okay.
So, but also it
This
gives
is still my world. I
Right.
still need to have a little bit of a guiding hand.
yeah, it gives Ash the chance to take a break from DMing, but it does not give Ash a break from playing on Red Dirt D&D. Ash is going to be joining us as a player for campaign 1.5. Y'all, if you have not experienced Ash King as a player, it is freaking awesome. You thought they were awesome as a DM, just wait until you see them as a player. So,
Just wait until you watch them try to pick every lock inside a haunted mansion because
Yeah.
the rogue is gone.
that's true. You have actually seen Ash as a player. If you just go back to our holiday
Let's say if
specials
you've
right here on
seen any of
YouTube.
our holiday specials,
Holiday
you
specials.
have experienced the wonder that is Isa,
Yeah.
my tiefling warlock of the Great Old One.
So, Ash, what is your character for 1.5?
So for 1.5, and you may have actually momentarily, for just a split second, seen her in when we went to visit Shada.
Easter
But
egg.
a little Easter egg there for you. So my character for 1.5, her name is Sintra Redmaw. She is a
I didn't
gnoll.
catch that before.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah. So Sintra of Clan Redmaw. So she is a gnoll paladin of the Bone Mother. And I will be using another custom paladin oath. I really like writing paladin oaths. I don't know why. I've written 2 so far. Because of course I have the Oath of the Silver Star, and then I also have the Oath of the Trickster.
Yeah.
So she'll be a trickster paladin of the Bone Mother. So I'm very excited to play her, kind of bringing her back because I actually have played her in other campaigns before. So this is injecting her into Ratoya and giving her, a really wonderful, unique backstory in this world. And so her mother has basically decided, she's a little bit of a brat and a little bit of a spoiled child. So she's basically thrusting her out into the world to learn some things, child.
So with Sintra, then let's go ahead
Cintra's
and move
best
over to,
buddy.
let's go move it over to Kiri. Kiri, who are you playing?
Cintra's best buddy is a character that I based off of a joke.
Imagine that.
His name is Billy. He is a possum. He is Billy Possum.
Yes.
Here's what you need to know about Billy Possum. The teddy bear was created with a story with Teddy Roosevelt. William Howard Taft coming in hot on the heels of Teddy Roosevelt. His marketing team was like, hey, we need like a teddy bear thing. You had Possum at that dinner in Georgia earlier this month. Let's make it that. And so they make Billy Possum everythings. Billy Possum figures. They make Billy Possum cartoons. They make Billy Possum gravy boats. They make Billy Possum flags. And Billy Possum never takes off. He dies before Christmas, which is a really sad death for a toy. And so we know we were making characters, like animaling characters, and I was torn between doing a paladin armadillo, because he's already in heavy armor, right?
Yeah.
Or Billy Possum. And so Sintra already had a paladin, so we're gonna go Billy Possum. And he was separated from his family, and Sintra found him as a baby and raised him to be a mighty orc warrior. And so mighty gnoll warrior. And so he is a mighty gnoll warrior in the body of a tiny possum. And it's very
He's going to be small enough that he can ride around on my shoulders.
Shoulder, and he's
gonna be great.
I'm working on the voice. It's gonna be great. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
There you go. And Connor.
Oh gosh. So much like Ash's character, you might have met my character at some point. I play Jaska, and she is a Yodi. And a way far back in the early episodes, we might have met her. And she is going to be a ranger.
Is this a Yodi that might have encountered some of the characters currently?
Maybe
like saw some heroic daring do when they were little?
Yeah.
You just have to tune in and find out, bro.
That's right.
Find out.
Got to keep some secrets.
Y'all are starting to see a pattern here. Tails, Tails, from the Ironwoods. We're all playing furries. So,
I mean, hold on, Michael. Let's see if the pattern
has
continues.
a tail except Brooke.
So, Johnny, what is your character? What kind of tail does your character have?
The room has gone dark.
So dramatic.
I made somebody in the next room laugh. You haven't met my character yet. Fortunato may have heard my name before somewhere. I am playing.
No, man. Now I'm imagining that you tried to intern as his familiar.
You were too small to carry the
It wasn't good enough for me. I turned his
He
down.
didn't have enough ambition.
I will be playing Twitch Grimfoot, a rat necromancer. And I'm holding nothing back. All of you are invited to participate in my ritual that will make me immortal. Of course, you will all meet your demise and die, but I will live forever. Thank you very much.
Some of you may die.
But
that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Sacrifice I am willing to make.
I will say the weirdest thing for me with talking about 1.5 is it's just gonna be a little weird not to be in love with Johnny.
You can make it a thing still. It could work.
Yeah, possum and a rat. They're both, one's a marsupial, one's a rodent. I don't know if that'll work.
Well, not for breeding purposes, but you could still have a relationship out of it.
Michael.
Yes.
Your guy has a tail.
Okay, so my character. You guys have not met me either, because I've been living my fun and best life in the Feywild. And just having a party, having a blast. I love it. And all of a sudden I got thrown into this horrible world. I am a jackalope folk.
Yeah.
That's right, folks. And there's actually, I think, pictures somewhere on the web of me with horns and bunny ears. And so jackalope folk, folks, this is going to be, it's basically a Harangon, but with horns.
Yeah.
But his name is Blackjack. And I haven't come up with a voice yet. I'm getting close. I'm getting really close. And Blackjack was sent to Ratoya and wants to get back. But fortunately for Blackjack, Blackjack has a best friend who has also come along. Oh, should I tell him I'm a warlock as well? But yeah, that's we'll find out more about that
unnecessary.
later.
That's neither here nor there.
So let's go over to my friend Brooke, who is my best friend, also from the Feywild. Brooke, who are you playing?
Also from the Feywild. I will take one step back and say that in original concept, I was really pushing for my character to be human. And then it would be like a Christopher Robin type of thing with the one human and all these
and we immediately
things.
said no.
And Kiri just shot it down. Kiri firmly was like,
That's
no,
too weird.
no.
It's
No.
too weird.
Brooke is the only
We
one who
had
didn't
one
embrace
rule
the
for
furry.
1.5, Brooke. One rule.
You can be silly, but
And
you can't be
somehow
weird.
you still
You
broke
Still
it.
broke it. So, but here's the thing: we all have tails. Tails. Tails.
That's
from
right.
The Ironwood. So we all got tails. So what's your tail, Brooke?
Well, my tail, T-A-L-E, is that I don't have a tail, T-A-I-L, because that's where the spinnerets are for Sanasi, the Spider-Can. Kind of like a Yodi, only spider version. And my goal will be to creep out Connor the player as much as possible while
You will.
Zanasi and Blackjack hang out together. He's a rogue, and I think that they probably both think the reason they got expelled is the other one's fault.
Oh yeah. No, it's totally Zancy's fault.
It's totally Blackjack's fault. Like, I told you not to touch it.
This is just another
Who are
fine
these
mess you've
people?
gotten us
These are
into.
not fine noble
that is-
warriors.
that is all I have to say about that. You have put us into a spot, and that is all. It's your fault, and that is.
We're talking about this, and Kimberly from your house, Michael, sent me pictures of the possum that
Yes.
frequents their backyard.
Yes.
Aw.
Yeah,
My
that's her Billy
inspiration.
Possum.
And we'll have more information. I don't have it pulled up right now, but I know my race is actually a individual creator on Reddit, and we're gonna give them all of the props and all of that. I pinky promise. I don't have their name right in front of me right now,
In
but
the show notes.
we got their permission. We're going to preface that. We're going to plug them. I think, am I the only one that had to call somebody?
Yeah, I think so.
I had to do a little internet searching with open gaming license, but it's all kosher. So
Yeah,
I
mine's
still
the
need
still
to
possum is a
dig
very
around and
niche
see how I
animal.
can make them actually as close to Yodi as I can with Ash's permission.
Yeah.
My rat ancestry will be
Goodness.
property of Sneaky Coyote Productions.
And mine's official
Or
content
Johnny
is
Payne.
with horns. So
right.
Let's say, yeah. I mean, for
One
the
and the
most
same.
part, for the most part, we've managed to I actually wrote the Null race back before Tasha's, but but that's actually one of the beautiful things about Tasha's is that technically any of us could have come up with any of these concepts and just using the base rules from Tasha's about how to customize your lineage, it would have been very easy. But we also, again, like you guys did some great internet searching and found these absolutely fantastic pre-made.
There are some
Custom races.
fantastic race features for this possum. Let me tell you, there's a thing with his tail. There's a playing possum thing. It's great. We're here for it. We love it.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
so excited about 1.5. Not just because I get to play. I mean, that's exciting in and of itself. I do suffer under the curse of forever DM. So getting a chance to play and especially getting a chance to play for an extended period of time, that's a rarity for me. So this is going to be a nice little breather while I'm doing my research for campaign 2. But yeah, it's just like to see the creativity that is still flowing amongst this group. And especially like going into campaign 1, right? A lot of it was just, here is my world. I am thrusting it upon you, and you all get to explore it and to see the possibilities and discover what Rotoya is all about.
Well, that's not necessarily true. You have done a fantastic job of bringing us in as partners to world build.
Yeah, it has been.
I love that so
really
much.
great-
Team Mafia. Every time it comes up, I was
Steam and whistles.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just the give. That's just the natural give and take of D&D. Is that
Right.
if you create a world and you have your players, like you have to allow them to engage in that creation with you. And it makes your players much more invested in the campaign and the setting, and it just makes everything so much better. But my thing is that, you know, again, for campaign 1, you guys were coming into my universe, and I was introducing it to you and showing you of the possibilities, and you guys, you know, naturally started to come up with things that I'm like, that's going in, this is a thing. We're totally making this, like you just said, this is like a one-off jokey joke. No, man, that's a real phrase. But now for 1.5, it's like you guys got used to the way that I do things, and now even before we get into 1.5, you guys are already starting to shape how the Ironwoods is going to look, and how, you know, these characters are going to engage with one another, and introducing these interesting layers of, Jackalope from the Feywild. This is confirmation that, the Feywild is a thing in Ratoya.
It's in Ratoya. Yeah, you can get to the Feywild from Ratoya. That's right.
Yeah. And the possibility for adventures in other places because of the kind of, it's just so like the doorway is now there for all kinds of things. It's really great.
It is amazing how much this world has grown, and it's growing even more. And again, the fact that it's also growing when we're talking about people who are fans of the show taking it and making their stuff and adding it to their own campaigns and their own worlds. That's the beauty. That's as much as people cosplaying you, that's also a sign that you've really done, you're doing something right, is when people say, that thing that you've created, I want that in the world that I'm doing.
I want to live in this world so much that I'm out of episodes, and so I have to.
That's
like basically have fan
fiction starts, and then
inspiring Shadow the Falcon to do his own Western twist, you know. And Strix in the chat, you know, busted into Disney song for us because we couldn't at the moment, and so
and so if any of you fans out there, if any of you fans out there want to start making fan fiction, Ash won't read it.
I'm not going to read it because of, you know, that opens up a whole can of legal worms. But that's my litmus test for having made it, right? Like, as soon as I see the first, like, fan art, great, awesome. Cosplay, awesome, love it. Fan fiction?
I will read it, and I will tell you how spicy it is.
I will
just tell me the spice level.
I'll just give you a spice level.
1 to 10 spice level.
I feel like the past 2 recording sessions, Carrie's been sitting over there writing it.
I know.
You're holding up signs, asking me questions.
Pages and pages of stuff. I can see what the title is too.
Oh, I see this. I saw the title on that one. I know what you're talking about.
Oh man, you guys can't wait to the next couple episodes. They're so good, so good.
Yes.
Yeah,
I did my job.
I tell you, and here's the other weird thing is just kind of let you all know what's going to be coming up. We got 106 coming up, 107 and 108 were recorded. They were only recorded by themselves, only because Ash had just gotten back from Renaissance Fest, right? And we were bone tired.
We were
and
crispy.
We just needed to clear. We just needed to clear June. We just needed to clear June, so I wasn't going crazy trying to edit quickly. So we just recorded 2 episodes. So 107 and 108 recorded by themselves. So there will be a new roundtable that'll come out after 108. Become a Patreon member, you get the full version of that roundtable. And then the next ones, 109 through 112, have been recorded already. We are recording 113 through 117. Nope. 116, because I can't do math. Thankfully, I'm married to a math teacher. 113 to 116, a week from this Sunday. So
I'm so excited. We got such a quick turnaround as a player. I'm so excited.
Yeah, but then we might also take
left
more
them
than
at
a month
pretty
off after that.
intense cliffhanger.
It's pretty brutal.
Because we work around each other's schedules because we've got 2 teachers, and come August, August is an insane time.
I'm
for a
so
teacher.
tired though. the whole month of August, and I don't even have to report back till the 16th, and I'm still tired just the whole month.
And my wife's the exact same way. Brooke is also a teacher, so August is just insane. June is also kind of insane for teachers because you want to take off. You want to get away. And we had SoonerCon that month, so we only recorded 2 episodes. We work together to make sure that we can put out an episode every week, and it's just been amazing that for 2 years that we've never missed one.
Never missed a week.
Never missed a week.
Like,
and
kudos to you, Mr. Cross.
Thank you.
Seriously, like that's you, because you've busted your butt multiple times to keep us on schedule. So
now I'm not only editing that, I'm now editing Secrets of Monster Island. Folks, if you haven't checked out Secrets of Monster Island, same kind of music, same kind of sound effects. It's just us on video. And so go check that out right here on YouTube. Right here on this whole channel. This thing here that you're watching.
Let's say wait till we get done, and then as soon as we get done, stick around, check out the rest of the Red Dirt YouTube channel, because you're missing out on some great content if you are not already watching Secrets of Monster Island.
It's been phenomenal.
And speaking of content, there's a certain kobold who's been rebuilding, tweaking the website a little bit.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Talk about the website.
Woo!
It's getting cleaned up. Nobody go to mobile just yet.
But if you go on your laptop, it's cool.
That's not the best. I worked to clean up some of the mobile part today, so it's almost there. But I just wanted to make it a little bit more cleaner. And also for 1.5 coming out, the entire website will get an entirely new redesign. So that's always fun. I'm always messing around with the website just to make it better.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It'll be midnight and he'll like kick in my office door because I'm still awake working on something, and he's like, "Ash, come look at this."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
I will say, I'm not going to give it away, but there's on the laptop, or on your desktop or whatever, there is a thing with, hovering the mouse that's magic. I just
Let me tell you, I'm on the website right now, and it's pretty nice.
Yoo-hoo!
I think I did fairly good job for at least this edit of the website.
Very excited.
For
So
Kobold.
you gotta
Give
great
that kobold
just
a
in time
raise.
to do all the good.
Oh, Kimberly.
We all are, Kimberly.
Thank you, my love.
Let's say we're so glad that you share him with us.
Amen.
We share
Amen.
custody.
You
And
too.
we take him away from you too often, but we thank you.
Yeah.
Michael Cross,
Yes.
how long before you turn into a pumpkin?
I'm already there. I still haven't even done my work for tomorrow morning. So I'm.
Take us out, buddy.
Okay.
Woo!
Folks, I don't want to. You guys are wonderful. I love all our fans. I love all of you guys so much. And I know we started streaming 76 minutes ago. Goodness gracious me. Okay, new episode drops tomorrow, episode 106. Make sure to check it out. If you are a patron member, you can become one right now, patreon.com/reddirtdnd. You could actually be listening to episode 106 right now. Yeah, I know. That's right. Wednesday, episode 106. Tomorrow is A&M, Talk D&D. We might be talking Planescape, folks. Planescape.
New Unearthed Arcana just dropped, hot off the press
6:30
today.
tomorrow. Make sure to check that out. Wednesday, check out episode 106. Today, we also launched a brand new episode of Secrets of Monster Island. Make sure to check that out. Also, you can check out last week's Plausible Deniability with some of Brooke.
With some of Brooke. That was, yes.
Because
I rolled, I don't know, my computer, but it's working tonight. I'm super excited. Yeah.
Keep sticking with us. It's going to be phenomenal. We're going to go for 2, 3, 4 more years. Who knows? We'll keep going until you guys tell us to stop.
The day you all stop listening is the day that we end the campaign, shut off the lights, and go home.
That's right.
But until then, and like I said, until we run out of stories to tell.
Yeah.
New content, rotating DMs. It's just going to be then a whole new set back in Ratoya. Well, it's all in Ratoya, but then a whole new set. Holiday specials are getting there's a thing percolating about that
I'm
too.
very tired.
No. Check the crow's nest. But anyway, woo!
Okay, guys, thank you so very much. Remember that we love you all. You are all fantastic. keep being the same fabulous people you are right now. And we will see you on the flip side. I'm Michael Cross.
Connor Schnold.
Johnny Payne.
Curie Hester.
Brooke Bullock.
And Ash King.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care. Love
Bye.
you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.